All right, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters, back again. And as promised, I said I was going to talk about this QAnon. As I begin to research, as a result of the most recent ambush, riot, mob, rush, storm, all of the adjectives that you can use to describe what happened on the 6th day of the calendar month, the first Greco-Roman calendar month that the world calls January. Okay? Now, after all of that went down, on most of the news mediums, they had they were trying to figure out what happened. So the Trump supporters, mostly in general, the white evangelical Christians. That's the terminology that is being used. I did some research on that, and the history of white evangelicalism is not good. All evangelicalism is not white evangelicalism. In other words, to say there are whites that consider themselves evangelicals but are not under that umbrella of white evangelicalism. The difference between the two is the white evangelicals are the ones that support Donald Trump. But there are a lot of evangelicals that don't support Donald Trump, so they don't fit under that umbrella. Okay? But be that as it may, I know I'm going to get some comments from different people who's going to say, well, brother, every evangelical doesn't support Trump. Every white evangelical doesn't support Trump. Well, then you don't fit in that category. How about that? I'm talking about the ones that support Trump, the Trumpers, right? So let me get to my point. So through my research, after looking at what happened on the 6th day of January, I'm gonna just say it like that. I don't use pagan terminology. I try to avoid using the pagan terminology. The days of the month are pagan deities. That's why I'm trying to jump around it. But I'm trying to, for your edification, I will speak your language so you could see, or you could clearly and concisely understand what I'm saying, right? So now, after that happened, I kept seeing that the white evangelicals the Trumpers kept pointing a finger at this group called Antifa. So I don't keep up with all of that. Antifa, QAnon, Proud Boys. These are the names that's in the current news. Black Lives Matter, right? I don't get off into all of that, right? Fair is fair, wrong is wrong. I speak on it. I don't care. I'm not into groups. What group was it that? If it's wrong, then I deal with it. Okay, and that's the way we're supposed to be. We don't take sides. We don't jump sides with Black Lives Matter. We don't jump sides with Blue Lives Matter. We don't jump sides with Proud Boys, QAnon, white evangelicals, KKK, white supremacy, whatever. We don't jump sides, right? We all created in the image of the Creator, regardless of what you look like on the outside. Okay. Now, some people mistake what I'm saying for skin color because I make the mention of the fact that the children of Israel are black. There's a reason why I point that out, because you need to know you're Israel so you can understand or understand why you had to go through the history that you went through. That is the only reason why. So to deny the truth is denying the prophecies that is pointed towards the people that the whole book is about. When the Most High brought me into the knowledge of this, when the messenger of Yah, the angel of Yah, spoke to me back in 1990, before my dad died, and I was a Christian inspiring minister at the time. And the voice, the angel of Yah, told me I was an Israelite and to study Israel and to study the people, and the prophecies would open up. Now at that time I was heavy into street preaching. I was a street preacher with the bullhorn, the whole 9 yards. But now it didn't make sense to me. Why is it necessary for me to identify that I'm a so-called black man? I'm a so-called Israelite. I mean, under my estimation, I'm an African American Negro black man, not an Israelite. That was my estimation. But the angel of Yah, that I've come to know that it is one of the 7 spirits of Yah, the angel of Yah, revealed to me that I was an Israelite and to study Israel and to study the people and to study the land, and the prophecy would open up. Now, so with that said, most of the people that prophesy don't prophesy with the understanding of who the true Israelites are. So what does that mean? Many of their prophecies are based off of the Israel replacement theology, that the church has replaced Israel. Okay? Now, with that said, back to QAnon. I had no knowledge, no clue of what a QAnon was. But because of the Antifa came on, and the Christians, white evangelicals, and Trump supporters were saying that it wasn't Trump supporters that stormed the Capitol, but it was Antifa. I had no knowledge of who Antifa was. So, after researching about what happened on that day, and then there was a man named Jake or something, Jake Angeli, I think that's his name, the one that that had on the outfit, looking like a goat or something, with his chest all out and tattoos everywhere you look. And it said that he was a part of the QAnon conspiracy. And they call him Q Shaman or something like that. So I started research. I said, well, what is this all about? So I Google search and did some search, come to find out that it's a conspiracy that believes similar to Alex Jones and his 9/11 Truth Infowars, who I used to follow many years ago, right? But knowing that I'm an Israelite, and listening to Alex Jones very, very briefly, I'm going to mention him, I'm moving back to QAnon. I started embracing the conspiracy, 9/11 was an inside job, and all the other things, the government secret orders and stuff like that. And I started preaching and teaching and mixing it with my teaching. Now, he used to showcase people like Tex Mars, who is now dead now, deceased now, I should say, respectfully. And so my question was, somebody had called Alex Jones' show, and it was an Israelite person like me that knew they were physical Israelites. Asked them who were the blacks, because they was just trying to pick them, trying to check them. Were the blacks in America Israelites? And he said no. Israel's a spiritual people, and that's when I was done with him, because my thing is that if you are going to expose darkness and expose deception, then the biggest deception is to hide the identity of the so-called African American slaves and why they came into captivity. So I was done with him after that. And so now that's been many years ago. I want to say maybe 10, maybe 15 years ago. Came in contact with Alex Jones. It was around 2000, somewhere around that. So I dealt with him up until maybe about 2010. Then after that, I was done with him. So about 10 years ago, I guess it's 2021 now. And but back to QAnon. So I looked up this Jake Angelini or Angeli or whatever his name is, and QAnon, and come to find out that QAnon was a conspiracy theory that paralleled similar to the Alex Jones 9/11 Infowar, and that they believe that there is a group of people that control the world, just like Alex Jones InfoWars believes, but that they believe also that Donald J. Trump, is the savior. And I was like, what? I had no clue. And it seems like to me that the white evangelical church have bit into that viper. And that's the reason why they are so obsessed with Donald Trump, because they, most of the people that I used to listen to and fellowship with when I was in the Word of Faith, that used to teach the Bible, are now teaching Illuminati and the Secret Order and the conspiracies against Donald Trump. And I was like, so they done bit into that. Now, I did a lesson about 2 or 3 weeks ago called the Strong Delusion. Now I really can confirm that Donald Trump is in fact the strong delusion, because now that I know that that is what that conspiracy is all about, and when I hear those Christian pastors talk that talk, I can really see now that they believe that Donald Trump is the chosen one. Many of them have said it out of their mouth. He is God's chosen. He is the chosen one. I've heard all these prophets say Donald Trump has a rod. I heard this Indian lady named Raji, call her prophetess Raji. She said that the Lion of the tribe of Judah put the rod in Donald Trump's hand and made him. So it's really deeper than what I imagined. I mean, when I was sharing, when the Most High gave me the lesson on the strong delusion, I had no clue about no QAnon that believed that Donald Trump was the Messiah, the Savior, that he's the one that's going to take down the deep state. So, oh my mercy. That was the spirit that gave that to me, because I had no knowledge, no idea of what no QAnon and their theory and doctrine. It wasn't until just this past weekend that I saw a video that explained all that. I was like, wow, I didn't know that was out there. And but the Most High said through the Apostle Shaul, he said that the Most High would send a strong delusion. Right? Now, all of the prophecies that's prophesied to Israel, the Christian, white evangelicals have made the prophecies applicable to the Christian church. And that's dangerous. And that's why they have this aggressiveness about this. And there's no telling what will happen now. In a couple of days from now is the inauguration. They got the Capitol on lockdown. So are they warning us that they're going to overthrow the government through warfare? Literal warfare? Because people like Kat Kerr says it's a spiritual thing, but I don't just listen to what people say. I listen to what people are not saying, right? And she talks about secret sources and things like that. So, my recommendation to all of the people of the nation, because according to reports, there's supposed to be attacks on all of the state capitals in all 50 states between now and the inauguration. So my advice to you is, if you are out specifically, especially on the 20th, on the 19th and 20th, please be very careful. Use caution, because you don't know who's what, who has what, who's planning what, because it's going to get ugly. Not to add fear, not to create fear, but just to be cautious. Be cautious, not fearful, but be prayerful. Know that something is about to break loose, and just make sure you're out of harm's way. If you're pray in person, pray, in your closet. Don't pray. See, that's the other thing. A lot of these people are praying publicly. The Messiah that you say you follow said when you pray, He said, pray in secret. Enter into your closet, pray in secret, and that the Most High will reward you openly. So when you go out there and you say, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pray and I'm going to put it on YouTube so have the whole world pray with me, you are basically praying and receiving your reward by just doing your prayer video. So keep that in mind. All right. So with that said, I'm going to end this video. I was supposed to be doing a 10 minutes, trying to keep it under 10 minutes. So I went over 5 minutes. But until next time, shalom, shalom, shalom.